How's it going, YouTuberverse? Marty Worm is here, back, with a monster pile of shit I've been listening to and enjoying. Hope you've been doing well, and thanks for sticking with me, watching my old videos and stuff, getting a few comments here and there. I'm not the quickest at replying like I used to be, but busy guy, what can you do? Yeah, I've got a couple things here. I got some records, I got some tape, I got a whole bunch of CDs. But first, what I want to do is announce I'm in a band here in northern Michigan called The Glorious Dead. We are a ancient, old death metal band with our style hanging on to the more the old school style of death metal. A week or so ago, we finally released our debut, well, not our debut, our recent demo tape. It's a pro cassette. It's a 4-track rehearsal demo. Gustav Dorr lifted artwork from, many of you will have seen this artwork in The Awakening by Merciless. I took a different chunk of the art. It's just a demo, it's just a rehearsal demo. Didn't want to commission an artist for it. Pro tape. Kind of dark in here, sorry. Feel like you're death metal old and crusty and grimy and dirty, should definitely give us a shot. This is a rehearsal demo, recorded open air with a, what was it, a Tascam field recording device. A little sloppy here and there, but you can go to Bandcamp, listen to the whole thing, decide if you want to buy a copy. We got 100 of these made. Selling pretty well. If you want this pressing, you might want to jump on it. And I have a couple other things to show you too. We also have beer koozies. Focus. A couple shirt designs. So yeah, help us out. We're trying to save up some money to record our full-length album. Help us out. Go on over to the Bandcamp page, which I will have linked in the description below. Check us out. See what you think. Our first debut demo, different lineup, is in there. Back to 2009, we recorded that. But definitely go back, listen to our stuff. Let us know what you think. Always open to hear some comments on our efforts. We appreciate that. And next up, I've got a pile of stuff. Haven't been very active on YouTube, but I have been buying stuff. And I forgot to put music on. Oh well, doesn't matter, I guess. Few records. I've bought a bunch of records. I haven't had a chance to listen to many of them. CDs have been basically my medium of choice these days. As working, it's easier to be out in a cold shop with CDs on as opposed to records. But first up, I don't know if I may have shown this in the past, but Poison Idea, War All the Time. I had a dub of this. A friend of mine recorded for me years ago. Some of you know I'm a punk and hardcore fan. Maybe not as deep into it as Pat from Ground Zero Salem, but I love it. When I get in the mood for it, that's all I want to listen to. And I've been kind of hitting that mood again. Getting a little more of the hardcore stuff. This is more punk, just crusty, nasty punk. This is the only thing I have by Poison Idea. They've got an extensive, I don't know if it's extensive, but they've got a hefty discography. Anybody have any other albums to recommend by these guys? Please let me know. Big fan of this album. Just, yeah. Red vinyl. Big fan. It's really noisy punk with a little bit of a metal twist to it. Definitely, I don't want to say metal and make you think it's like metalcore or anything like that. It's definitely punk oriented with metal flourishes, just a heaviness and aggression perhaps. But these guys are great, and this is a great album. You should definitely check it out. Next up on the pile is, I think I said in a previous YouTube video that I really didn't need to buy any more Archgoat albums because, you know, actually I think their last album was really good step in a good direction, which made me kind of want to buy this. And their split with Satanic War Master was also really good, even though that was like reworking of older material. You know, other than that, the early on stuff is like warring black metal, war metal, cross, and I've kind of come to the, you know, the conclusion that you heard one, you heard them all, other than their songwriting is improving. So anyway, I pulled the trigger and bought the new one, the Luciferian Crown. You know, it looks like your typical Archgoat. This album I don't think is as good as the last one, but it's, you know, a really solid release. Catchy. Did I get a colored vinyl? Nope, just black vinyl. I'm not going to show you that. It's really solid. You know, they spared, what's this on? Demir Morty Records. They spare no expense. I mean, this is a hefty fucking book. Band pictures. I've listened to it about 5 or 6 times, and I enjoy it. Once it hits the rack, though, I'm afraid it might be swallowed by time and dust. We'll see what happens. I've got all their others on vinyl as well, reissues. I don't have original pressings of it other than the last album and the split. But you know, I think a lot of people in the YouTube land have already gotten this and probably shown it off. So it's Archgoat, really simple, stripped down, power chord, dominant riffs. Speed is there, but it's used sparingly. It's a lot of really dark, evil grooves. You know, heavy, evil vocals. It's good stuff. I would recommend it if you're into Archgoat. This isn't going to disappoint. They're not reinventing the wheel. Next up, I may have shown this. I can't remember. That's the problem with, you know, doing these things so infrequently and having shit just stacked everywhere. But this is a great album. This is Varathron's Patriarchs of Evil. I can honestly say I did not care for their last album. Corridors, something Untrodden Corridors of the Abyss. I can't remember if that is the name. But the album before that, Stygian Forces of Scorn. Holy shit, it was at a comeback album. That thing, well written. It sounds like classic Greek black metal, as does this. This is just a really well written, well produced Greek black metal album. It's on Agonia Records. Been a fan of these guys for quite a while. I hit or miss. I did end up filling in my collection here recently of the things that I had missed. You know, maybe not all of their albums are on par with His Majesty at the Swamp and Walpurgisnacht, but this album is great. And since they've gotten back together, I really like what they've been doing. Like I said, Stygian Forces of Scorn is probably my favorite of their comeback albums. That album is just so well written. Heavy. God damn it. Fuck off. Great album. If you have not checked out Patriarchs of Evil, definitely give that one a shot. Let me organize this mess a little bit. Mess. Do that later. I've got a pile of shit here. Sorry. It's been a while since we've talked. And I've been I've been trying to buy all the CDs on the internet. Don't ask me why I do this, but I do it. Here we go. Organization. First up, a couple albums by Monstrosity. This millennium is George Corpse Grinder Fisher's final album before he jumped ship. Started singing for Cannibal Corpse. This is a bootleg, I'm assuming. It's a very well done bootleg. It says Conquest Music on it, PhD. Maybe this was reissued and I am mistaken, but I'm fairly certain that this is a bootleg. Whoever does these things, they do a good job. And if, you know, something is not reissued, I'm not going to pay fucking $50, $60, $70 for an original pressing. I have the promo cardboard sleeve of this album, and it just gets lost in the promo box, so I kind of wanted it on the shelf. That way I can see it and buy it. This one is their newest one, Monstrosity, The Passage of Existence. This album is fucking superb. Excellent death metal, Florida style. I don't even know who the fuck's singing on this, to be honest with you. Lee Harrison, of course, on drum. Mike Hruvikak on vocals. Don't know who that is. Matt Barnes guitars. Mark English guitars. And Mike Pogoin on bass. Very cool digipack. Well done. Thick stock. Shouldn't be one of those that go to hell on us. This is an amazing album. There's two things I want to say that, it might be kind of a strike against it, but it isn't really meant to be. The production on this thing is super slick. I mean, it is ridiculously slick. To the point where it might be too clean, but it's still super heavy. You can hear everything, which is good. The second thing, there are 12 songs on this album, and every song is great, but man, it feels like a long album. Really, really, really long album. I've been listening to it. I've been listening to it a lot. Totally enjoy it. Let me see if I've got this going here. Yep. If you haven't heard it yet and you're a Monstrosity fan, definitely check it out. It's worth getting. Next up, I am on a collision course with trying to fill in all the gaps, and there are a lot of gaps that I had with Suffocation. I recently picked up, per the request and demands of my friend Ben Brain Smasher, the Suffocation, The Close of a Chapter, live in Quebec City. Live CD that was put out by Relapse, and man, this is fucking amazing. The sound quality on it is spot on. The playing on it is spot on. Frank sounds amazing. I would say the production on this live album, totally shits all over something like Breeding the Spawn, which is a good album, but the production has never been a great thing. But definitely check out Close of a Chapter. Like I said, I'm late to getting all the Suffocation stuff, so you probably already have it. And I just got this in the mail the other day. This is it's in the truck because I've been listening to it. This is a bootleg. I feel like shit for buying these, but they're really well done. I got this from Hell's Headbangers. They're well done, and I'm not going to pay out the butthole for a fucking original copy. This is Effigy of the Forgotten. I have an original pressing of this on cassette that I bought when it came out. This also has the Human Waste material on it, and I believe a couple songs from a demo, but I don't know. It's really well done for a bootleg. They did it right. Sorry, I keep looking up because my camera is right here, but my monitor sits up here, so make sure I'm in the frame. I'm always looking up. I'm looking up to Jesus. So yeah, Suffocation, Effigy of the Forgotten. Of course, this has all their classics on it, and I bought it when it came out during a time when I was super burnt out on this style, and it's kind of a shame I missed out on some great stuff. And now that my awareness and mind has been reopened to the brutality of traditional New York style death metal and whatnot, I'm eating it up like crazy. Awesome album. I really don't know where I want to go next here. I got so much shit piled up here. Next up, due to my love of Winter Sun, my newly discovered and found love of Winter Sun, I thought I would check out the band that Yari was in before he left to join Winter Sun, to form Winter Sun, and that is Ensiferum. These are the two albums he played on. This is, I think this is self-titled. Yep, this is the first one, Ensiferum. And this is the second one, Iron. I've only listened to these once each. There's a booklet in here, but I'm not going to fish the fucking thing out. They're good. It's good. I can't say that I like it as well as Winter Sun. These guys are a little bit more folky, but I enjoyed it on first listen. When I get in the mood for it, I will definitely come back, check out Winter Sun. Good stuff. recently I've been trying to get out more. I haven't been doing so in over a year, and now that my band is trying to get out and play shows, I'm trying to get out to our local scene, which isn't a whole hell of a lot going on, honestly. But recently I went and checked out a band called Oro here in town. They're from Traverse City, I believe. They are a 3-piece band. And Infinium is an instrumental album. They're an instrumental band. They're in the vein of Russian Circles, Pelican, stuff like that. And you see them live. You know, they've got the bass player and the guitar player have like this massive boards of pedals. You know, there's a lot of dancing they're doing, and they're also controlling all the lights. They've custom built these LED lights that fit the mood of each song, and I was quite impressed with them live. This was their CD release show. Definitely check them out if you get a second to do so and you like stuff like Pelican and Russian Circles. I wouldn't say that these guys are as advanced or as strong of songwriters as either of those bands, but for what they're doing in Traverse City, this is well produced and the songs are good. A couple of them towards the end kind of wander a bit, but it's a small complaint. I enjoyed them live. I was impressed. I was entertained. It was cool to get out and see them. And for $8, grabbing their CD, I felt like I helped somebody out. It was definitely cool. Next up, this might be a longish video. I got quite a pile and I'm chatty today. This is a band I missed out on during the day. Dark Symphonies, The Crypt, reissue of Crypt of Kerberos's Demo 91, Promo 91, Cyclone of Insanity EP, Visions Beyond Darkness EP, and Into the Ruins EP. This is like an early stuff. I think they went on after this. I can't remember, but this is fucking great, heavy, detuned, Finnish death metal from Finnish. Pretty sure they're Finnish, but from back in the day, from the early 90s, late 80s, and wow, it's just one of those things I've been listening to over and over again. This is good driving music. Totally a fan of this era and this style. Obviously, I came up from this style and this era, and it just was impossible without the internet back then to get everything. I know there's some people that really worked the tape trading circuit hard. I did tape trade, but not. I had a handful of dudes I traded with, and that was it. This is great. If you have not heard this band, definitely check it out. Crypt of Kerberos, Kerberos. Awesome stuff. Here's another one I skated on when it came out because the old school me just was not open to prog evolution in death metal, and that's what this album is to a very great extent. Pestilence Spears. This is a Hammerheart Records reissue, a very well done Hammerheart reissue. Spears, listening to it now, it seems completely normal and fine, and I really enjoy it. Back then, I had my head too far up my ass to like anything that had progression and forward-thinking ideas. And having loved the debut Malleus Maleficarum and Consuming Impulse, which is easily one of the best death metal albums ever, and Testimony of the Ancients, even though that changed a little bit, this just seemed a little too foreign for me to digest at the time, but I'm glad it's gotten a repress, and yeah, it's good shit. Really good shit. The CD, it's a 2 CD set. It's got Spheres, it's got live tracks, it's got remixes, it's got a 3-song demo from the era, and an entire rehearsal set. So yeah, very cool. And it also comes with this little pointless poster, which, you know, where are you going to put that? You're going to hang that on a wall? I don't know. I think that's kind of pointless, but nice book. Hammerheart Records spared no expense on this. It may have even gotten a LP reissue. I have no idea. I'm not as up on the ins and outs and the comings and goings of releases these days. I typically try to avoid. I'm trying to not buy everything on the internet, but you know, I go in waves on that. Next up, I can't remember if I showed these or not, but I always had the Flimnus Occultist and realized that I somehow missed out on Ritual. This is a reissue on Osmos, recent reissue, I believe. This is a fantastic old-style black metal album. These guys are from the Czech Republic. Eternally weird band, but damn, they're good. Nowadays, it just seems so... they seem so ahead of their time. And dark, twisted, and evil, and I love it. This album is way better than the Flemish Occultist. It's just a great... I would kind of lump these dudes in with like early Samael. Definitely these guys are weirder, a little more aggressive than that, but they have that same ancient black metal feel. This was before the second wave. No, it was actually right during the second wave taking off. But due to the fact that they are from the Czech Republic, they have a completely different mindset when it came to approaching this stuff. Little less battery worship and a lot more their own style. So it's inspired me to pick up a lot of the stuff that I've missed by this band, and even though it's new shit, it's hard to find and kind of expensive. This I got at Hell's Headbangers for cheap. This is a newer Master's Hammer, a reformed Master's Hammer, and honestly, it's really cool that they got back together because they really don't sound like they've missed a step. They continue to be completely unique, twisted, weird, evil, very cool. Looking for their other CDs as well. Keeping an eye out when I think about it. Next up, I was going to do a review on this, but as many of you know, I've been busy and I can't organize my thoughts enough to sit down and actually do it. But this is the supposedly the final Necrosis Crystals album. I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about this, and when they do, it's kind of in passing, which I get. Am I holding upside down? No. I don't know. It's weird when there's a cross right side up on an album. You think instantly that it's printed wrong. Like, oh, that must be wrong. But it's not. This is a 3 CD set. And for Necrosis Crystals to go out on such an ambitious and prolific note is admirable. It's worth noting and completely honest. This album is better. This 3-album set is better than the last couple things they've put out in my book. It comes in this little black box. And the albums themselves, it comes with a booklet. A hefty booklet. End Time Death Metal. 3 CDs in like promo sleeves. They're going to get all scratched to hell in these things, but it's still cool. I've only listened to this a couple times, and this is a band for me. Necrosis Crystals are a band for me that have never surpassed or been able to outdo their, I think it was their debut full-length, Trivium Impurity Rites. That album, to me, was absolutely perfect. Dark, twisted, simplistic, just really fucking evil, really cool death metal. This album, and as they've continued on, they've maintained the same style, so it almost feels like I shouldn't have said that. But they maintain the same style, but the music just is not, doesn't feel as urgent, doesn't feel as twisted. It feels like they put the main shot of their creative spark into that first full length and the mini CD that came out around it. But for what this is really good. And like I said, ambitious. It's 3 full albums. And the third album on here is my favorite. It seemed to be the most aggressive, the most, burning with intensity of the 3. Again, I really need to sit down and spin this some more. I definitely like this better than that 9 Circles of Hell LP they put out. But for them to go out by jumping on a 3 LP or a 3 CD set, very ambitious. They're going to be missed. I guess live they were great. Never saw them live. But this is good. I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I didn't buy the LP. I wasn't about to fork over that kind of money. This was completely fine. For as much as I'm going to probably listen to it, it's fine. Next up, Horrendous Idol. Had to check this out. This is a band that's been on a fast track of evolution since their inception, yet they retain the Martin Van Drunen style death metal vocals. This album is starting to find more higher up screaming type style. The music on this is really well written. It's very forward thinking. There's a lot of evolution on this. They're not just a death metal band. There's a lot of twisted, weird little twists and turns to this album. And the thing is fucking produced great. Whoever recorded this, I could look at it and tell you, but don't want to waste your time when you can look it up yourself. It's just a really aggressive sound, but clean. I've listened to this probably 5 or 6 times. It's really good. The Chills is probably always going to be my favorite Horrendous album. All their albums have been good. This is really, really, really good, and I see why Season of Mist jumped on them. I feel bad for Matt and crew for losing such a big band for themselves for Dark Descent, but they moved on. What are you going to do? You can't stop progress, I guess. And Horrendous came back with a great album, Idle Rules. This album, I've listened to a shit ton since I got it. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing now because I still have some more stuff to talk about. This is Bloodbath, The Arrow of Satan is Drawn. Everybody's showing this off. I really don't like the title. I think it's kind of weird. It comes with this little annoying, it looks like a corner album. When you leave it like this, it looks like a corner album. Has that, the bar, the aesthetic that way. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But, yep, little Obi thing. It's going to get ruined in the CD case, which is annoying. Big booklet. The big turn of events on this album is the new guitar player is one of the dudes from Kraft, the Swedish black metal band. A lot of people are saying because of that, there is more of a black metal twist to this record, and excuse me, the first couple songs may have that tinge in the guitar and the riffing style, but to be honest with you, it's an advanced Swedish death metal album. I don't hear a lot of black metal on this. I think the intention remains. They're trying to be pure in their death metal. There might be some more of a melodic dissonance creeping into some of the songs, which is letting people believe that it's black metal, but I don't hear that. I just think it's a great album. I think the album before it, which I can't remember the name, Nick Holmes' first album with this band, I think that album to me is a little more catchy, but there's a lot going on this thing, and it's a really dense listen. The fucking guitar tone is so powerful. It sounds like it could power a small city. No problem. Nick Holmes, a little low in the mix, but his vocals sound great. I was always under the belief that after Gothic, his vocals were dead. But apparently not. He's still crushing it. He can do it live, which tells me that they just Paradise Lost moved away from that vocal style in favor of more commercial pastures. But it's nice to hear Paradise Lost getting back into that guttural, throaty doom, that English doom style again. It's good to hear Nick doing that, and it's good to hear him in this band. I think he's a good fit. Michael Ackerfeld's vocals really kind of took a shit over for a while. That's why he's probably singing clean with Opeth now. I've got 4 more. Next up, how long have I been rambling for here? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Half hour. Next up, Sodom, Tapping the Vein. This is one I did not get back in the day because I had moved out of the thrash. I got kind of tired of thrash back in the day, and I moved into death metal and black metal a little more earnestly, and honestly, this is one of those albums that slipped through the cracks. I recently picked it up pretty cheap online. This is, I think, it's Steamhammer Century Media, so it's a reissue. Drakkar. It's saying 92, so it must not be a reissue. Anyway, Tapping the Vein. This has a different guitar player on it, but still features Tom Angel Ripper and Chris Witchhunter on drums. And to me, the Sodom sound, even though this is a thrashier, a faster, a speedier release, they're trying to get more aggressive. I think the guitar player on this album, a little more advanced and a better player than Frank Blackfire was. So I think there's a little sharper edge to the music. But for me, it doesn't really matter who is playing guitar in this band as long as it's Tom singing. He's got a very unique snarl in his voice, you know, like the death/black metal Lemmy. And Chris Wishhunter, he kind of fell apart at the end. You know, he succumbed to his addictions, but his drumming style, always, you hear him play drums and you can tell it's Sodom. Just the way his style is. He throws in these big mighty fills in atypical places in the song. And that, to me, between Angel Ripper and Witch Hunter, those two guys define the Sodom sound for me. So this has been an enjoyable album. You know, I always thought I owned it until I started looking through my tapes and my CDs and realized I didn't. I had to rectify that, and I'm glad I did. I've enjoyed it. It's been good to catch up with that stuff, and there's still a few holes in my Sodom collection that I will, eventually fill when they turn up. And as you can probably tell from the stuff I've been showing you, that I have kind of fallen out of grace with traditional black metal. I don't know why. Typically wintertime, I'm back into it again. But, man, last year, I just started getting really tired of the whiny. A lot of it seemed fake and bullshit to me, and I got tired of, buying CD after CD or LP after LP of shit that sounded the same. A lot of lo-fi production, a lot of the same chords, a lot of the same dissonant fills. I just started to get really fucking tiring to me, and I found a lot more rejuvenation and solace in thrash and death metal again, and some punk and hardcore. But this is an exception to the rule. This is the final Cosmic Church album with Taintimus? I don't know how to pronounce it. This is not out on vinyl yet, but I couldn't wait. I had to get the CD. And man, this album is fucking great. It is a great, great, great Finnish black metal release. Really good production. It isn't a shitty production. And the riffs go somewhere. They take you somewhere. They're atmospheric. They're thoughtful. The songs are well written, and they're not just revolving around two riffs. Each track is a journey. It goes somewhere. It's really well done. This is the final journey from Cosmic Church. Apparently, this guy is doing a different band now and is ending Cosmic Church, which is kind of sad because it is really well done stuff. The booklet is really thick. Not matte finish. It's matte finish. A lot of pictures. Very cool. If you have never heard Cosmic Church before, this and the album leading up to it, the two albums leading up to it, are also fantastic. Who in the hell? Anyway, great album, Cosmic Church. Check it out. Vinyl should be coming next year. Skeletal Remains. Again, Condemned to Misery. This was the last released by these guys that I did not have, so I scooped it up thanks to Hell's Headbangers. And these guys fit right in there with the old style of death metal. There's a definite Van Drunen / Donald Tardy vocal style. There's a drawl in his accent and his performance. Really great. They're not reinventing the wheel, but they write really well done death metal that goes somewhere. Interesting twists and turns, great vocals, good production. Definitely check out Skeletal Remains. And lastly, on this long rant, realized that I was missing out on some Primal Fear. I listened to some shit, realized I saw them back in the day at Milwaukee Metal Fest. At the time, I was like, just shitty power metal. And yeah, I mean, these guys are the epitome of typical German power metal. And I realized I love that on occasion. And so I got online and started hunting around, and I got this CD box set for $15, and it's got 6. It's got 5 of their full-length album, their first 5 full lengths, and then a CD of covers and rarities and shit. But yep, comes in this nice jewel case, which already is falling apart, so I guess it's not that nice. Nice big booklet lyrics for all the albums, pictures when you come to a new album. You know, to be completely honest, every single album kind of sounds the same. But Ralph Shelpers, I can't remember how you say his name. You know, he started off singing for Gamma Ray, which I enjoy that early Gamma Ray stuff. So I'm thinking, why in the hell wouldn't I like what he's doing with this? I even bought the new one, too. I got the new one, too, out in the truck. Apocalypse, it's called, I believe. But, you know, this is just great power metal. No frills, German, a lot of double bass, a lot of guitar wankery, and great soaring vocals. You really can't go wrong with something like this. And I enjoy. I don't listen. It's not a style I listen to a ton, but when I do, it's a nice change of pace from the deep, dark, evil stuff I normally pollute my ear pussies with. But there it is. Check it out. Nice big set for cheap. You can get all their early albums cheap. And that for now is all I have. I'd love to tell you I'll see you soon, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm going to try to be a little more productive when it comes to this channel. There's some things I would like to do. I would like to get caught up on all my collection updates. I'd like to start doing the What's Spinning, which is kind of what this has been. What's Spinning. I would like to do some reviews. And there's even talk about a podcast coming, which that is going to be a bit of an undertaking. But there'll be more about that if it happens, if and when it happens. And I guess that's it for now. And I hope you're all doing well. And I've been enjoying watching a lot of people's videos. I just don't comment that much. And yep, that's it. And I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much for your support. Check out The Glorious Dead. Hopefully, if you're into old death metal, you will dig it. And that's it. Talk to you later.